What about when you come up against him? What then?
I'll fight harder, I always have.
Take a look. His speed, his ferocity, his training. I see the power.
Hail Kingdom! Since Path of Exile 2 League is kinda done, I joined Private League with the bounty challenges. Most of them were clearly made for speedrunners, but one of them was different. That is cool YouTuber Schwingy, who beats Path of Exile 2 with some random builds. Schwingy spins the wheel and put $100 on the line for the first Chayula Monk to beat Arbiter of Ash with a Forge Hammer, a class that no one plays with a skill that no one uses. A terrible idea to try this bounty. Which is exactly why I said, I'd bet.
Let's do this.
I start my journey with a fresh new monk on a riverbank, and even though my main goal to defeat Arbiter with Forge Hammer, I decided to up the stakes a little bit and try to get at least 5 bounties in 24 hours. Spoiler alert, it was a horrible mistake. My main problem right now is that I got no idea how Forge Hammer works. And just take a look at this description, there's tons of texts and rules. And there is one line that will make this skill completely useless in most cases. We will get to this later, because right now I'm completely free to choose my leveling build. And if you check my channel, you will easily find the best leveling builds for every class and insanely powerful endgame builds for classes I play. But since we need to play Chayula Monk, I decided to use most popular build of this season, Poison Bow.
I've never been so wrong.
After arriving to Clearfell, I crafted Contagion as my first skill. Then I rushed to the next zone and found one more skill gem, and this one I decided to keep, because my plan was to sleep on the banana and die to wolves, then beat old lady with a stick, since she drops a bunch of equipment that we can easily sell. And after selling everything I have to Rendley, I was able to buy bow with added lightning damage. I could craft lightning arrow as any normal person, but I decided to choose poison burst arrow. Now I can cast contagion and hit with poison arrow. Since poison inflicts chaos damage, contagion will spread it to nearby creatures and help me clear screens. And on paper it sounds really smart. Then why no one is actually using poison as leveling skill? That's what I thought at this moment, because I saw how packs of monsters basically disappear on my screen. But the question will disappear in few areas, because in the first zones enemies just does not have enough HP, and if you just basically press few buttons you will clear every single one of them. Like bosses, who will always have loads of health. And that's where I noticed a problem. When fighting bosses we will see that damage is almost non-existent. That's because poison scales with initial hit from chaos damage and physical damage, and my bow got loads of damage, but it's mostly lightning based damage. Normally at this time I'm already approaching end of first act, and now I'm fighting boss in Red Veil and even dying to him by an awful mistake. This was horrible. Still I decided to be a man and continue playing poison as I wanted from the start, to see maybe it will feel better later. Spoiler alert, it won't. Actually, it can be pretty okay, but only if I manage to find a bow with increased physical damage and added physical damage as mods. Of course, it's not possible in a fresh run. Another problem that Monk is almost as squishy as basic mage. Maybe it's not really a problem? No, it's a problem. Let me out, please! Oh, come on. Yeah, after dying to Asenia 2 times, I decided to completely forfeit my attempts to beat any type of speedrunning bounties. I mean, we still get them, but of course not as fast as guys who playing something like crossbow. So I'm doing them mostly for fun. That's why I decided to put all my brain power right now into avoiding all boss mechanics and staying alive, and also preparing to what my final build should look like. So I just pulled out Forge Hammer on my mobile phone, because I don't have second monitor, and kinda found an idea. I will shoot this target on Arbiter of Ash, I will cry with some war cry, and it will blow him up. Probably I'll keep poison and chaos damage in my build, and it should work. However, I missed one really important line, and this will turn my build into complete mess. But right now I'm having a great time against Count Jenner and destroying Act 1. And it took 3 times more time than I normally would take on this act. but it was fun. I used shield to easily avoid these moon ice beams, and overall this fight was not really a big problem. However, we will need to defeat Count Janor once again in Citadel with all modifiers. Yeah, it should be a really hard challenge later on. And on top of that, I will need to survive all 4 wolf stages, but right now I'm heading to Act 2 and getting upgrade of my bow. That's pretty normal strategy in second act. Instantly at level 16 get upgrade for your bow, spend all currency earned, and now you will have an amazing time against bosses and enemies. This upgraded bow carried me right to the Dreadnought Vanguard, which is basically the end of Act 2, and that's where our first bounty comes into play. I need to remove all armor pieces beside boots. Sadly, after doing so, I got not enough stats to wield my items, so I was forced to go back into town and respec my character. It's definitely not what was I looking for on already pretty weak build. Bounty was submitted by TalkativeTri. He makes a great podcast and discussion videos. And task was to remove all items and only with boots and weapon complete Dreadnought Vanguard and Jaman-Ra himself, without teleports and at level 32 or below. Of course, at this point one of the speedrunners should already complete this bounty. I'm not aiming for the prize, but aiming for fun, and this challenge is quite interesting. Probably on some tanky mercenary who generally got more strength than Monk, it will be pretty easy task. But now I got only 300 life, and my Monk with almost no strength is insanely squishy. I tried not to get into very bad situations, and I managed it pretty good. However, sometimes I got ambushed by these awful bugs, and they're pretty scary, because if I die, I need to restart World Trial again. Another problem, there is loads of tanky monsters and loads of monsters with a shield. Shields work like a block for projectiles, and I'm basically doing 0 damage, because my arrow is kinda projectile attack. Therefore, eventually I ran out of mana flasks, and it was complete mess, because now I need to just stand and regain my mana normally between packs of monsters, since I cannot TP out on this challenge. Luckily, I hit level up, and this instantly refreshes my flasks. I'm definitely below level 32, so we can go and try Jaman-Ra. Instantly, I notice the biggest problem of this strategy. My bow right now is pretty weak, especially against Jaman-Ra, and half of the damage came from rings and also from gloves at this point, not from the weapon itself. So, after running out of mana, I found myself in a tricky situation. Using everything I can only affects a fraction of his health bar. Yeah, I will need loads of full combos, and probably I won't be able to regenerate mana at this point, because I will lose loads of, and therefore I won't be able to use flasks on second stage, and it is far more dangerous. As dangerous as his lightnings that basically one-shot me when I without gear. It's a problem, but not a problem for Spot, so I pulled out all my focus and completely destroyed his first phase on my second attempt. It was not easy, but I know his attacks, so I can survive this phase. But now we're going into phase number 2. I told you that second stage is quite hard, but honestly it's a little bit of a lie, because these telegraphed attacks are pretty slow and pretty easy to avoid. One is just forward, and second will be big whirling slash around him. By just keeping a little bit of distance, which is pretty easy, especially when I'm using just poison arrows, I can easily avoid these whirlwind attacks and just roll throughout every dangerous terrain that he creates. I took this part of the phase slowly, because at the end of his health bar he becomes pretty crazy dude, and with all these tornadoes and lightning walls he creates this sun, volcano, machine guns. And now there's almost nowhere to fight, but I got all my flasks and easily finish him off. Challenge kinda completed. Kind of, because after first time dying to Jaman-Ra, I actually supposed to completely restart the area. But again, this challenge was claimed, it was fun, so let's go to the next one. It was already late night for me, and normally at this point I'm falling asleep. But now I'm slowly dismantling bosses bit by bit, avoiding every attack possible. It was hard, but pushing my limits actually helps, because now I'm feeling completely safe against these bosses if I'm doing at least a little bit more than 1k damage every 10 seconds. And yeah, I kinda learned all movesets in the campaign and after campaign, and Foreshadowing a little bit, I learned every single move of Arbiter of Ash. My initial plan was to already be on the maps at this point, because yeah, you can easily beat full campaign in around 6 hours, but now I'm pulling out all my focus to try and survive without flasks against Viper. Oh, that was a fight. Luckily, after this hard battle, Doriani is just piece of cake. In previous patches, hardest attack was this transformation, when he drops from the high ground on you. But now you don't need any timings, just sprint and you easily can avoid this attack. That's what I did and went straight to Act number 4. That's where I started to monitor trade market. And there I found that my bow is kinda one of the best bows on the server right now. Don't forget, it's private league and new fresh economy. There's not enough players, not enough items. So I just upgraded my bow that I crafted myself and went straight forward. That's where I got my first really good and important drop, Divine Orb. Yeah, there was actually a challenge for the first guy to find Divine Orb. I was not first, but this Divine will definitely help me, as well as Atziri temples. Yeah, I'm slowly building Atziri temple and I'm building towards Atziri herself. I'm not playing, however, right now, because I want to beat her at high level temple, and therefore I continued my way through Act 4. Tried to get Headhunter from this guy, but there was no Headhunter. Still, at least this ring is not that bad. I'm doing chaos damage after all, and this ring increases my chaos damage. But I need one really important item, and I constantly monitored market with live search trade and finally got my deal. Instantly I went back to the town, and also I tried to snatch item as fast as possible. Start of the league and guys trying to sell Plague Finger gloves for like 3 divines or so, and now finally one guy selling those for just 1 divine orb, and this item will change everything. Yeah, look at the bosses right now. They not just taking a little bit ticks of damage, they're just melting, because every damage from hits right now will contribute to poison magnitude. And now every lightning damage that is on my bow, on my gloves, on my rings will contribute to damage, and this made all interludes basically a breeze, and I destroyed the whole campaign. It took me around 10 hours, which is again insanely slow for normal tempo, but we played kinda weak build and tested how it can perform. Anyway, it's time to get straight to maps, and as you can guess, with Plague Finger gloves I'm having zero troubles. Right now I'm pretty easily leveling and destroying map enemies and also map bosses, taking myself from tier 1 to tier 15 pretty easily. The difference with Plague Finger gloves and without them is significantly massive. Yeah, it's just devastating. But while mapping I found one Rogue Exile. He got Bramblejack, and I instantly went back to town to buy another Bramblejack from another player. It was actually one of the bounties, and that's what was my strategy. I need to defeat Rogue Exile wearing the same item as this Rogue Exile. So as you can guess, strategy was pretty simple. Look for Rogue Exile, buy some cheap unique, because I most likely will wear cheap uniques, and then I just need to destroy him. It was a little bit hard at first, because I need to run away from breach monsters, there was loads of them, but now when they are gone, I completely free to a nice and fair PvP. Of course, this warrior lost to me, I got his rusted Kiras, Bramblejack, and now we are good. Yeah, one bounty finished. Still, my main bounty is to find Arbiter of Ash, and to do it I need to find citadels. But this time, look at my atlas, I randomized loads of Jade Isles, Sacred Reservoirs, and all of them on my way. It was crazy how much of this special content was in the game, and actually I got very nice feeling, because from these guys, from these special bosses, I can drop insanely rare support gems. And as you can guess, I got no support gems on every map, as well as I got no ascendancy right now. You may ask why. Why are you use still basic monk, because I'm on tier 15 maps and I finished the temple. Now I got next bounty. I didn't want to do Sekema anyway. Basically, without ascendancy, I need to go to this high level temple and defeat Atziri. So after going through my small temple and talking with Doriani and Alva, Atziri decided to dip herself in strawberry juice, and then we started to fight. Okie dokie. I don't know all mechanics, but I hope we can deal enough damage. Okay, it feels good. Oh, he can teleport. I mean, she. Jeez, how much health she got? It's already 1 million. But attacks are pretty slow. Weird dude. Go away. Oh. Okay. Yeah. Perfect. Now she's going into second phase. Okay, that's where the troubles may come in. Let's try to focus. Oh, turns out this lady is Snake. Oh. Now she got a lot more health. Like 5 million? No, probably 3. Oh no, no, what's going on? Oh, I don't know what is this attacks. Is my person enough to finish her? It looks like no, she starts to... Yeah. Can I try again? No, I guess I got no time to rebuild this temple. And I definitely don't. That's why I started to focus on my next phase. I started to look for correct essences by adjusting my atlas to find more essences, and especially more essences of battle. Again, this is start of the league and there's no essences on the market, or they are extremely costly. Therefore, I was lucky, as you can see, and got nice monster. So after this big fight and pretty hard fight, I got my Essence of Battle. In 0.4 it's probably one of the best essences for any martial weapon, since level 2 all skills just skyrocket our damage. Now I just need to find a good two-handed weapon with increased physical damage. However, as you can see, there's not a lot of really nice options at this point, but that's the best one I could find right now. So I quickly crafted it, with bunch of essences, bones, and that's what we land on. Nice physical damage, increased critical hit chance, added physical damage, and level to all attack skills. My plan was to desecrate extra increased physical damage, but I forgot how it works, and actually it was blocked by increased physical damage that is already on my weapon. So I threw away this piece of garbage and crafted by Inspector's Skill Gem. You probably think it's some sneaky way to increase power of my build, but no, it's another bounty. And great idea from Triceratops. Basically, I need to get Spectre Triceratops and let him finish Arbiter of Ash. I'm going to kill Arbiter of Ash no matter what, so I decided why not to do two bounties at the same time. And that's why I got this Spectre as my companion. At first, this idea sounded like a really good one, because already at this point I'm pretty much melting bosses in a matter of seconds, and I thought like, come on, I can easily beat him in few seconds no matter what, and let Dinosaur to finish Arbiter. Anyway, there was only one place where I can get Dinosaur, and that's where I got my Ascendancy points, so I spent them on more chaos damage, pretty straightforward, to get more damage on top of my Forge Hammer. And now it was time to create my skills. However, still I won't use it right now, but I'm kinda getting an idea how to use the skill. Basically, I can throw a hammer, and whenever I do any Warcry nearby, it creates molten fissures, and that's kinda where the damage should come from. Also, 24 hours is almost past, and my goal was to finish bounties in 24 hours. Luckily, I found citadels, and as always, they spawn kinda nearby. The first one on my way was Duriani, and he was pretty easy, as you can guess. He melted in just seconds. Yeah, I'm still using POE, because why do I need to train with Forge Hammer? I just need this Citadel keys to get into Arbiter of Ash situation. I even defeated Jaman-Ra in third-person view, because he's insanely easy when you got some gear, and he got melted also in matter of few seconds. But all of these fights was on pretty easy waystones, without any upgrades. Therefore, I was able to actually die to Doriani if I fail, and then retry again to get my Citadel key. And of course it's smart decision when you're playing for 24 hours already. But for Geonor we got another quest from Tri, and we need to defeat 6 mod Citadel with Count Geonor after he finished his poem. The first goal is to lower him enough to transfer him into second stage. And my damage is pretty good right now, because I got Fire Shrine. So yeah, we're dealing insane amount of damage. Now he's going into second phase, and that's where fun begins. I decided to turn on volume for dialogues, because these lines are dialogues and we will hear them a lot more clearly. And we need to wait for verses. So now he's going into second stage, and here I'm just waiting for him to start his wolf stage, because if I attack him, I can defeat him by accident, or if I lower him enough, instead of basic moonbeams, he will start attacking with enchanted moonbeams that can't be avoided by a shield. And I'm not only making awesome builds for Path of Exile, I also breaking all the RPG games. And I broke this challenge kinda too, because I decided to adjust volume and put down a pause. However, even on pause, Count Geonor starts to speak his poem, and he did it insanely fast, so technically I could just wait on pause menu and he will finish all the verses. Yeah, on just one pause he finished 2 verses, and since goal was to let him finish all the verses, I can basically do it in one single phase. Of course, for fun I decided to put all my skill on, avoid his attacks, survive all 4 stages in upcoming 10-minute fight, and finally finish him off after all verses are ended. Get my last key to enter Citadel, equip Hammer and skills, confirm that I'm Acolyte of Chayula, and get ready for the big final fight against Arbiter with Acolyte of Chayula and Forge Hammer as the main skill. I'm pretty powerful, I got okay hammer, I got Plague Finger gloves, so what can go wrong? I will just throw hammer at him, then I will War Cry, it will poison him since all damage contributes to poison build-up, and he will be melted in a matter of seconds. Then I will let Dinosaur to finish him off and finish 2 bounties at the same time. I expected around 200k damage or even more, but as you can see, well, it's a lot far away from 200k damage. And Arbiter, well, he can do a lot more. Oh my goodness. Remember, I told you I forgot about one line. Well, after War Cry, Forge Hammer goes on cooldown. And damage is just laughable. Last season Arbiter got around 2 million health, if I remember correctly. Right now he got 5 million. And that's only on the first stage. So I need to learn all mechanics, I need to avoid every single attack and survive enough to deal around 10 million damage with my Forge Hammer, and it's just awful when you play it already for 24 hours. But on second attempt I managed to lower him down enough for him to transfer into his second form. On the first form, his deadliest attacks is this race. Just by standing in the middle of area, I got enough movement speed to quickly transfer through these safe lines and survive this attack. Second dangerous attacks starts when he starts to roll around area like a crazy dude. There will be big fireballs and they create big explosions. If I stand outside of the explosion area, I will instantly be one-shotted. So I just need to monitor where they are and try to be in the correct place in the correct time. Other than that, first stage is kinda easy and he is a little bit slow. But in second stage he combines all of these attacks, and also there's 2 new mechanics on the stage. There's purple and ice ball. By touching those, area changes. There can be chaos, purple area or ice area. Ice will slow me down, the purple will not give me ability to heal myself, and at the same time, as I told you, he combines all his attacks and basically it's madness. Because now I need extremely precise timings to avoid his ray attack, at the same time be in a nice place when this explosion comes off. There is of course a good part, I got unlimited attempts to test my sanity, and even 1 pixel away will instantly one-shot me every time. And yeah, sometimes he gets a little bit crazy, and even in the first stage he starts to do ray when I'm standing in a safe place. Yeah, sometimes I'm just too slow in an ice area on second stage and he just one-shots me when I can't see where I need to go next. And sometimes he transforms into second stage in the middle of the attack of the first stage, and it combines into devastating, almost unavoidable attack that instantly one-shots me again if you don't know what to do and when to do it. I tried using shield to avoid some of his attacks, and it does not work. I tried to change my support gems a little bit, and of course I completely forfeit challenge to finish him up with dinosaur. Yeah, I felt it's impossible. So I changed my strategy a little bit right now. Also, I'm doing a lot more attacks, I'm doing this Forge Hammer, doing more attacks to accumulate more poison, and I'm definitely doing a lot more damage. At this point I already mastered most of his attacks in first stage, and he can't touch me with them. The funniest part is opportunity windows. After finishing one attack, I can do around 2 normal attacks, and he instantly goes into unhittable stage, where I need to avoid his attacks again and again and again. But first stage eventually was cleared, and we're going into a second one. To prove that I beat Arbiter, I need to upload an edited video, and this video lasts for 1 hour. In second stage, not only me can touch these balls, also he can take them to augment his attacks. So now he taking his ice sword, and I instantly running for this purple gem to deactivate ice ground. He tries to drop on me, and then tries to do his augmented attacks. It's insanely big array of fire and ice at the same time, and if I got a bow at this point, I could attack him. However, I'm melee character, so I can't even get close to him. And now I need to avoid this extremely hard attack by going in and out at the correct time to avoid 2 explosions, his ray attack and his 2 attacks with his sword. It's pretty crazy. Then he gives me opening just for a few attacks and starting to run away. When he goes into purple phase, that's where I can't even replenish health. So now I need to actually find this ice orb and deactivate purple ground, otherwise I won't be able to heal myself. Eventually he shows his back, and I will leave live commentary over here. Oh yeah, that's an opening! Come on! We can do it. Okay. Oh. Where? What is he doing? Okay, it's basic combination. Oh! Of course, it was complete desperation, but I cannot surrender. At this point I got 2 options. Option number 1 is to actually try to learn his mechanics a little bit more and try to deal enough damage to finish him off. However, in every attempt after this one, which was pretty lucky, and I lowered him almost to 10% HP, I never got even a little bit close. Yeah, probably I was a little bit mad, probably I was a little bit tired, maybe like very tired. So there was still option number 2, and option number 2 was to just get back into hideout, read skill a little bit more closely, decide what I can upgrade, how I can get more damage, and then I will need to get to most citadels, get 3 keys again, and go for attempt number 2. And that's exactly what I decided to do. First citadels was pretty easy because I used bow, but right now I don't have enough gold to respect my character. So I decided to place one of the best bows in the league right now for extremely cheap price to sell it as fast as possible. And basically I tried to sell all my inventory. And then went for citadels. I bought 2 keys, so I need to defeat only Doriani, however I need to defeat him with Forge Hammer. Yeah, it also will be a nice build test. So my idea right now is to increase damage output by using Frost Wall. By casting Frost Wall and then throwing hammers at it, we can actually deal pretty nice chunk of damage. Also at the same time, we're using this hammer to hit it as a range attack instead of using War Cry, and it actually works. It deals pretty nice chunk of damage, it also poisons enemy, and now we can finally deal some damage. Doriani has fallen, not as fast as with bow, but still, it was pretty good for a Forge Hammer chunk. And after getting my key, we're going for a second attempt on Arbiter of Ash. Okay, I don't know, but I feel we can do it. I will try to focus so there will be not a lot of comments. Let's do it, guys. Oh yeah. Thank you for your back, Mr. Arbiter. Okay, 1 million before mechanics. That's great. Oh, that's wrong button! Oh, it was dangerous. Almost blocked myself. Oh, he instantly goes into another mechanic. What a dirk. Come on, transform already! Oh, finally. Okay. Yeah, I guess we're fine. No time to think about support gems. Oh. Not bad, not bad. Luckily there is no this weird combination. Oh, here it is. Perfect. Come on, remove this purple ground. I want to be able to heal myself. Okie dokie. Jeez, where is Ice Ball? Probably I don't need to touch this purple. Yeah. Where is Ice Ball? I don't even want to fight him right now. Eat my hammer! Here's Ice Ball. Okay, now we're good. Oh no, we're going for mechanic! Jeez! Oh! Holy moly! Oh my goodness. Oh, it can disappear. Okay. Oh my gosh. Okay, I let you take it. Let you take it. Get your kill sword. No, not now. Oh, we survived. Come on. Holy smokes. We did it.